Well, here we are. Hi, everybody. So I'm here at my grandmother and my grandfather's burial site, and I just wanted to give an update on how I'm feeling, what's been going on, and we'll keep it raw and unedited. I apologize in advance. We're right next to the airport, so planes are always flying by, so sorry in advance. Let's start with a daily devotional for people who might be grieving. This one was inspired by 1 Corinthians 12:24 through 26, and it says, "In the wake of tragedy, it is necessary to get alone with God in order to hear His voice and receive the comfort only He can give. But it's also good not to be alone for long. It's time to allow other members of your family and church and neighborhood into your world, no matter how messy it is, and let them minister to your heart in ways no one else can. There's blessing in receiving help in the home, in the kitchen, in the laundry room, in the layers of dust, and in all the moments when life doesn't stop just because you have. And what's truly special are the moments when others simply stop to suffer with you in your hardship as well as rejoice over the milestones of healing. Then, as you regain your strength and momentum to live again, it'll be your turn to do the same for the next person. May we all walk in God's plan with grace and humility for all the suffering souls." There's also a prayer in here that I'd like to read. It says, "Father, thank you for those who have suffered with me. Thank you for those who have reached out and helped me during the days and nights when I've not been able to move. Thank you for each step toward healing I've made and for the joyful moments of encouragement and kinship when others have reached out to me. I'm thankful not to be alone except when I'm with you in the silent moments of the day when your voice and presence is all I want to hear and feel. Your love reaching down, your love expressed through others is a true blessing. In your precious name I pray. Amen." So I wrote some notes because I wanted to be a bit organized with how this runs. So I know a lot of people haven't really heard the full story. We did discuss it on the Family Mart podcast with what happened to Grandma and how she unfortunately passed. But I guess I'll do it again for the people that aren't familiar with the Family Mart podcast. So basically, over the last few months, Grandma has been experiencing lots of different types of sickness. She had a stomach bug that lasted a little bit, and she's had colds. She's been coughing, and in December is when it heightened. And you could really hear how congested she was. Every time she would breathe, you could hear the phlegm in her body. And as the days would go on, it would get really concerning. So we decided to call a doctor. The doctor ordered a chest exam. So we had a technician come to the house, get her an x-ray. And a couple days later, we heard back from whoever did the exam, and they gave us the results, and they said that they found fluid in her lungs, and they recommend taking her to the emergency room. So we followed the doctor's orders, and we took her to the emergency room. I mean, even before that, when calling 911, I had no idea how severe this was going to be and how much of a production it was to have the ambulance and the fire department come to the house, and there was 11 firemen and paramedic people coming in and busting through and carrying Grandma into a stretcher, and just seeing, it felt like a movie with all these people in my house taking my poor 97-year-old grandma to the hospital. Even in that moment, I didn't understand the severity of all of this. So they took her to the emergency room. And as soon as we got to the emergency room, I don't spend much time in hospitals. As I hope not many people do, but there were just beds of people, wall to wall, lined up, and I've never seen anything like it before. All these people were just waiting to be administered into a room. So my grandma was waiting outside she was waiting outside in this hallway for a room. We waited for like 3 or 4 hours, and then she was finally admitted into a room. And maybe about an hour later, we find out that grandma had COVID, and RSV, which I didn't even know I didn't even know what RSV was. Anyways, she had COVID and RSV, and the doctor wanted to keep her around, put her on some meds. So I stayed with her overnight, all night, every 3 to 4 minutes. Grandma would be coughing, she'd be trying to clear her throat, couldn't do it, and then she would remove her oxygen, which was in her nose. She would remove it because she was uncomfortable, and I'd tell her, Grandma, no, don't, you need the oxygen, we're in the hospital, everything's going to be fine. And then she would try to go back to sleep, and this went on all night. While that was happening, every, I think, 2 or 3 hours, there were people coming in, taking different tests, doing a blood test. They were doing their job, and they were trying to help Grandma. So I know they had good intentions, but I started to get frustrated a little bit because, if they're coming in every 2 to 3 hours and Grandma's already having a hard time sleeping as it is, like, how is, this poor lady going to get any rest in this hospital with all this stuff going on? And again, I know, it's a difficult situation. They're doing their best. They're trying to keep Grandma alive. They're trying to, help her feel better. But I was just concerned, I had no idea how my grandma was going to get any rest in these conditions. And I prayed that, God would allow my grandmother to rest. I prayed and pleaded that she would just get some rest, because I saw how tired she was and how much this was really affecting her. So now it's about 8 a.m. My parents come to the hospital to relieve me so I could go home and get some rest, which is crazy because they're coming to relieve me so that I can get some rest, but there's nobody coming to relieve Grandma for her to get some rest. So I go home, get some rest, or try to get some rest. And then I go back later that afternoon to, be with Grandma and stay with her. And as far as like updates go during this time, like there wasn't much. I mean, Grandma still had COVID, she still had RSV, she still had a hard time breathing. We weren't really getting positive updates or negative updates, I guess, from the doctor. They were just monitoring her vitals and making sure she was okay. But there was no, we weren't going up and we weren't going down. I also had a trip planned to California to get certified under the FRS system, which is the functional range system. It's basically just a system where we learn how to strengthen tissue and how to delay arthritis. That's basically what it is. So we planned that a couple months prior. So I was trying to figure out if I should still go, because how could I go when Grandma's in the hospital? So I talked to my dad, and he was like, let's find out, the status of Grandma tonight, and then we can figure out if you're clear to go for the weekend. So, I'm there all day, and then at night we get some news that Grandma's looking better. She is doing much better according to the doctor. And, my dad and I decided, because Grandma would have family around during this entire time, we had a system going. We'd have aunties and uncles and my parents and me, we were all cycling. So Grandma would be covered. I'll go for the weekend since Grandma's looking better, and I'll be back on Sunday to, reunite with the family. So I go on the trip. I'm taking these classes. I'm in and out of this seminar mentally, because like I'm thinking about grandma. I'm trying to obtain this information. It was really difficult. So I call my parents the first night of being in California, and I talk to my parents, and they're like, grandma's looking good. She's been getting... Grandma's looking good. She's been getting rest. Things are looking great. The doctor wants to keep her around for a couple more days just to monitor her, but she's scheduled to go home on Sunday. That was the plan. So I was like, great. This is great news. I'm going to be with grandma on Sunday. Everything's going to be great. Sunday morning, 4 a.m., I hear my phone vibrate. I see my dad's picture on the contact. Instantly, I knew what this phone call was about. I don't know why. I just knew what it was about. So, instantly I knew what it was about. So I pick up the phone, and my dad calls me, and he says, grandma's gone. I can hear my mom in the background, hysterical. And I think the only thing I could say in that moment was, oh no. That's all I said. Oh no. So, I tell my dad I love him, and then I'm coming home, and then we hang up, and luckily I had faith with me, and I was broken. I was in shambles. I felt like it's hard to explain everything that I was going through in that moment. And all I could say to Faith was, I need to pray. So we laid there and we prayed, and I probably got 4 words out. But we just, was just trying to wrap my head around the whole thing. So we ended up going home early. I didn't get to do day 2 of the seminar, and I come home, and my entire family's at the house. It's tough. It's the first death I've really experienced in my life. Like, I've had aunties and uncles and family. Like, I've had relatives pass away in my life before, but nobody as close to me as grandma was. So, I was just... It's hard to describe that feeling. Especially, being with grandma every single day for the last 8 to 10 years, and then just all of a sudden she's just not here. Sorry about that. There was some people around, and I wanted to respect their privacy, so we're going to continue in the car. Anyways, grandma passed. We spent the next 9 days gathering as a family and praying and just really being there for each other. And I thought it was amazing to see all my family come together, contributing words of wisdom, food, just exchanging laughs, just trying to comfort everybody was just coming together to comfort each other during this really difficult time. And I thought it was beautiful. And then, we went to this funeral home to decide what we were going to do with grandma's body, how are we going to do the service and all of that. And I had no idea that burying somebody and having a service would be so expensive. It's extremely expensive. And that's a whole other video. And then we decided to choose the nearest and the next available day to have a service for Grandma and to have her buried, and it was on a Tuesday. Coincidentally enough, it was on a Tuesday, Grandma's favorite day. And yeah, we had the funeral. Lots of family came through. I told myself that I wasn't going to look at the casket because it was an open casket. I told myself that I wasn't going to look. But when we got there, I couldn't do anything but look. And the whole time I just felt like I had to protect Grandma, even though I know she wasn't in there. But I felt the need to be by her side the way that I've been. And yeah, we ended up, giving her a napkin, one of her favorite napkins, to be buried with. And I thought it was a beautiful thing. And yeah, burying somebody it's an interesting experience. So yeah, sorry, there's like people around and I'm like getting distracted. Also, I just learned that people like, not to accuse the people that are here, but I just learned that people like go to grave sites sometimes and steal stuff from the casket, that's wild. Anyways, now it's been a couple weeks, a little over 2 weeks since Grandma's passing, and there's so many things that I want to say. I just don't. It's hard to compile it all into like one video. I mean, I have notes here, but there's just so many things that I am thinking about. There's so many things that I want to say. Also, during that time, we ran, my cousins and we ran our first half marathon. And, it's funny because I made a video about training for the half marathon. And at the end of the video, I check in on Grandma and, ended up running the marathon, without Grandma. So, yeah, so I had the opportunity to fly out to New York to meet with Katie Couric. She invited me and a couple of their guests to talk about our caregiving journey. And it was an amazing trip, I was there for 3 days. I had the opportunity to be on stage and tell the story of how I became a caregiver and all the things about caregiving. And I thought it was an amazing opportunity, and it was such an honor to meet Katie and, share the stage with an amazing caregiver. Shout out to Adrienne, and somebody that works at Capital One who was talking about, the financials of being a caregiver and all the things that, all things financially related to caregiving. So I went there and I had a lot of time to reflect on, how my life has been and where I'm going to go from here, and, just process what's been going on. And I've been home for a couple days now, and today really hit me that, Grandma's gone. We keep her door open every day, and I still love to go in there. The room feels extremely peaceful to me. So I like going in there to just sit and think and, think about Grandma and all the amazing memories we've been able to have in that room. And I was talking to my brother earlier, and I was like, do you think it's weird that, we're with Grandma every single day for 10 years, and then one day she's just gone? One day you wake up and you realize the person that you spent every day with is no longer here. Just like that. And I learned something when I went to New York. I learned something from Adrienne. She talked about anticipatory grief. And she was saying that it's something that a lot of caregivers go through because, you know, you see every stage of the decline for the person that you're taking care of. You know, you see them when they experience this, and you grieve that part because they're no longer who they used to be. And then you grieve another part when they, you know, go through another thing, and then another thing, and then another thing, until ultimately the person that you're caring for is no longer here. So it makes sense to me why I wasn't as sad as I thought I would be. I wasn't as sad as I envisioned myself to be when I thought about this moment of Grandma passing. You know, I wasn't at the funeral sobbing. I wasn't, you know, I've had my fair share of crying moments and breakdowns, but for the most part, I feel more relief than sadness. I feel relief for Grandma. I feel relief for myself, for my mom, for everybody who was involved during this process. I just feel relief for everyone. Because Grandma was struggling. Like, Grandma hated being taken care of. You know, Grandma was a public school teacher for 20 plus years. She immigrated to the United States, brought her entire family here, raised many, many grandchildren. She was used to being independent. She wasn't used to people helping her. So for the last, you know, however long I've been taking care of her, she, one, obviously was always grateful that I was around, but she she wanted to do things for herself. She did not like having to be taken care of. She was an independent woman. And, you know, to have that stripped away from you, and to have somebody next to you at all times, I don't think she really ever got over that. So yeah, that was, I learned a lot from that New York trip, and, you know, I get a lot of questions from people asking, what am I going to do now? I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do now. I mean, I have plans. I have ideas. I have aspirations of what I'd like to do, but ultimately, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. I guess I'll just take it one step at a time, continue to put my faith in God, and I pray for His guidance, and I pray Him to show me the way, to help me along this journey. And, you know, I'll be reflecting on this probably for the rest of my life, and I'll probably be pulling nuggets of things that I've learned through the last 8 years every single day until I pass, which I think is a beautiful thing. I think, you know, to be blessed with that time is such an amazing gift, and I'll never regret it. 2, I'll never forget it. And 3, I think I will always be grateful for the time that I was able to spend. Like, I spent breakfast, I was with Grandma during breakfast, lunch, snacks in between, and dinner every day. You know, give or take some days, but pretty much every single day for 8 years. And I don't think I would have been able to do that if I wasn't her full-time caregiver. Like, if Grandma was, like, if she was mobile and independent, there's no shot I would have spent as much time as I did with her. So, what a gift I've been given to do that, and to be able to make memories with her, and to be able to inspire other people to call their grandma. Inspire young people to, you know, want to help their elders when they get older. What a privilege that is. So, yeah, I think, you know, to answer what's next, I think I want to be of service to other people. I think I'm being drawn to be of service to people as far as health and wellness goes. I think I've always been a huge advocate for health and fitness, and I want to help people. I want to, like, if I can help people be independent and mobile for the rest of their lives so they don't need a caregiver, I think that's a huge honor. And I know that's what's calling me. And I know that sort of contradicts, what I was saying earlier, where I don't know what I want to do, but that is what I want to do. I want to be of service to people and help people be independent and mobile and not need a caregiver in the last chapter of their life. Like, it would be amazing if all the people that I could reach would have the knowledge and do the things that would help them be independent for the rest of their lives. That would be cool. What else do I want to say? I guess thank you to everybody for sending really kind messages. My email and my DMs and my comment sections are flooded with really, really kind people. It's impossible for me to respond to everyone, but I appreciate everybody for reaching out and offering some words during this time. It's really cool to see how many people Grandma impacted. And I said at the funeral that Grandma was a teacher until the end. Until the very end, my grandmother was a teacher to many. And she didn't even know. She had no idea. She had no idea how many people she was inspiring. She had no idea how many people she helped during the last years of her life. And I think there's something really beautiful and pure about that, where it's just unfiltered teachings from somebody, So, yeah, I guess that's all I have to say. Again, thank you for the support. I appreciate it. Even if I don't respond, I appreciate it. What's crazy? Also, I was just thinking, I can't... When I open up my emails or my DMs or read the comments, which I don't really read comments like that, but sometimes I'll catch myself reading comments, and Grandma is everywhere. She is just... I can't escape it, which I'm not trying to escape it, but I think it's just funny how Grandma is everywhere. Yeah. That's all I want to say, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.